We need to go live. It's getting all set up. Okay, so we'll wait a moment or two to do that. Cool, very cool stuff. Okay. Setting up for next week, just an FYI, we're setting up some other agents to join us on open mic. So this open mic thing that we're doing is getting quite a reputation, where agents are kind of excited about showing off and being held accountable. So that's been very, very exciting. We'll talk more about that, I guess, next week. Tomorrow's Friday, but it's the 1st. By the way, everybody's reminded.
Neil, can you tell me about the open mic thing?
Sure, I can actually, Deb. That might be something that you want to play with. Let me do this real quick. Let me sign on and then we'll talk about it, okay? Okay, so Mastermind with Neil Schwartz. We have a great guest with us today. Another great guest is Deb Cizak from Nebraska. She is, Deb and I go back. I don't know if I want to say way back, but we go back.
Way back.
Way back. Actually, I don't know if I was your first coach, Deb, or your second coach way back in the beginning of the Mike Ferry coaching.
I had Mike for 6 months, and then you were my first coach.
Got it. And you are fantastic. It was very, very interesting in all the things. And one of the things we do want to talk about today is what you have done to overcome the commission objection. Because I know at one time, one of the things that we talked about, one of the things you've shared many times in formats like this, was that you got a little beat up on the commissions there for a while and have completely turned that around. So we'll talk more about that in detail, but give us a little Reader's Digest version, if you will, of the business, how long in the business, maybe some of your production, some of that. So we just have a feel for what you're doing.
Well, I've been doing this. I started out as a school teacher. I taught gifted ed. And then I started in real estate about 35 years ago. So I've been doing this for a long time. I've been an individual agent. I've been on a team. I've been the head of a team. I also coach and teach people in our company here. So I've kind of done it all. Right now, I have a team. There are 7 of us, including admin. And it's finally, I think, the perfect size, and it's worked real well.
Really good.
I've sold as many as right at 400 homes a year, and have made a good living in the business, and it's fun most of the time.
You do a great job of that. So when did you start in the business, more or less?
Started in 85, 86, something like that. Long time.
Okay. And as a single practitioner, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it. And did you know of Mike Ferry at the time or no?
No, like I said, I started in 85 and I met Mike at a seminar in Chicago. And I remember running to the back. I could hardly wait to sign up, but I'm not a real good person with paperwork or computers or that kind of thing. And at the time, I signed up all ready to do it. And then he sent me about a 10-page deal. I don't know if you remember that, Neil, when you started out, you had to fill out like this 10 pages worth of stuff. Well, foolishly enough, I just kind of ignored that. I never did that. And it took me another probably 3 years before I ran into Mike again. I think we were with Prudential at the time when I met him at a national conference, and that time it stuck. Well, that time he didn't make us do the 10-page paper fill out thing.
So in the beginning, thank you. In the beginning, how many transactions did you do in your first few years in business?
Well, interestingly enough, until I met Mike, I have no idea how many transactions I did. I did what I did. And at the end of the year, if you got awards, you go, oh, I guess I had a pretty good year. But no, nobody told me that you should keep track of the number of homes. And, it just wasn't. Everything was figured then in production and the number the million. Yes, volumes, which means
Right.
nothing, because if you sell high-end homes, yeah, of course your numbers are going to look good.
Right.
But yeah, no, it wasn't until I met Mike that I realized, hey, there were probably a few more important things to do if you're really going to run this like a business.
Got it. Got it. And even at that time, you were taking more listings or doing buyer sales before you met Mike?
Oh, buy or sell. Yeah.
Buyer
sure.
sales.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
And
love
then,
having those people in my car.
so, and that shifted for you when you met Mike and started taking more listings?
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
well, you know what Mike's like. And like I say, he was my first coach. So, he was just kind of shocked that I was functioning kind of at the level I was, almost by accident.
So when you started working for Mike and
He
started
changed quite a
taking,
bit.
yeah, that is true. He's much more mellow today, right?
I guess we could say that.
Yeah. He actually uses the word incubate leads.
Yes.
Exactly. So when you started working with Mike, what was your production? Did you, as close as you could tell, more or less at that
I
time?
must have been at probably like 20 million at the time.
Okay.
No, actually, I take it back. I'm sitting here looking at that. It was sitting over here. I was at 27 million.
27 million when you met Mike. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the first year with him, that jumped to 41 million.
To 41
and
million.
Then I
Go ahead.
actually started realizing how many homes, you needed to sell in a year. And I think that first year with Mike, I think we probably did like 35, 40 homes.
Okay.
Not a lot, but.
Okay. Well, by a lot of standards, not too bad. But on $41 million worth of sales, how often did you get your full commission?
Never.
Never.
No, I was, and I didn't do it. I think some people cut commission because they think it'll get them a lead, or they think it gives them a competitive advantage, which is exactly the opposite. I did it because I kind of wanted to be nice. I came out of a teaching background, and you could make more selling one home than you could an entire year teaching. So I kind of felt guilty taking those kind of commissions.
Okay.
So, I mean, and we laugh about that. I would start out and people would say, I do my presentation, which was not that good. And people would say, and what's your commission? And I would say 7. And nobody would say anything. And I go, 6, 5. I mean, really, it was before they said anything, I was probably down to 4%.
So they didn't say fine, or they didn't say and
No,
they
didn't
you
say,
were
or
just
that. They didn't
you were
say
just competing
7.
against yourself.
Yes, I was competing against myself and doing a fine job, I might add.
Until it got down to a number, they said, okay, stop. We'll take that.
All right. Yeah, we'll do that. You must be really bad if you're willing to do it at that price, but we'll go with you anyway. So yeah.
Fantastic. Wow. So what year was it where you had the infamous conversation with Mike about this?
That was that year, because he was looking at my numbers, and he was looking at my production and the number of homes I sold. And then he asked me how much I was making on that. And I told him, he said, whoa. I mean, how Mike, whoa, this isn't adding up. What are you doing? I thought, well, maybe I was just bad at math. I don't know. Let me, so we went through the numbers again, and he said, what are you doing? You should have, it was he, along with Ralph Moraska, who I just talked to you about, who unfortunately passed away from COVID. At the same time, the two of them kind of said to me, do you realize in the last year you gave away almost $500,000 in commissions?
Wow.
That was scary.
That was the
real
day.
Scary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you told me I gave away 10,000 or something, I'd be like, did they like me? That would be fine. But no, that was a very sobering number.
And how much did you make that year? Do you remember gross?
that year before.
Yeah.
Well, I made a $500,000, and I should have made $1 million.
Got it. So you gave away half of what you should have made based on the volume where you were at, right?
No, I have to say, don't think it was all commissions. I put on new roofs for people and bought their drain tile system. I mean, pretty much, I had a variety of ways that I gave away the money.
You're an amiable, right?
Yes, I am. Well, I must.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah. We want to be liked.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. So then Mike said, whoa, 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 as he's only so good at doing. And what was the rest of that conversation like?
He said, for the next week, you can't cut a single commission. Okay. And that doesn't sound like that's that big of a deal, but that was very frightening. I mean, how do you change the dialogue from 7, 6, 5 to 7?
And
I still am not.
Sorry,
I'm still not real comfortable with. Will you cut your commission? No. Any other questions? That probably isn't a good dialogue for an amiable. But I learned how to say that real quick because I was afraid of Mike.
Right. Okay. So you just were coachable and did that?
No, I don't know if I was coachable. Yes, I don't know if I was coachable, but I was afraid. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I mean, and it wasn't like, I think the best thing for me was it had to be cold turkey. It wasn't like, well, you can do a little less. It was, that's what it will be.
Got it.
And then someone said to me, and this really kind of stuck, and I don't know that it was Mike, it was someone in the organization said, you have to realize that when you cut your commission, you're not just hurting yourself, but you're hurting the rest of the real estate industry. Because if you've been doing this for a while and you're halfway successful, if you're willing to cut the commission, everybody else has to do the same thing to match that. And that's not from an arrogant standpoint. It's just like you're kind of setting the standard. Even if you're not the best in your marketplace, if you're just even good, if you'll do it for less, other people will have to start doing that. And that kind of helped me a lot to realize I wasn't just hurting myself, but I was hurting a lot of other people too by doing that. And I wasn't doing it to defeat them. I was just doing it because I was kind of a chicken and wanted to be nice.
Right.
But probably the best thing in all of that, Neil, was nobody, when I quit doing it, it wasn't even hard to quit doing it. I mean, that is the commission. And it's not, if they want me, if they say, well, somebody else said they do it for 5. Well, I understand that. Can I tell you why that makes me nervous? And I just go into the things, but it doesn't bother me one bit. I'm not going to change that. And once that mindset is, no, that isn't even, so that part of the listing presentation is an easy part. No, that's where our commission is. Now, I will tell you, I have come up with, because our commissions in general here in Omaha have gone down significantly. I mean, there are people here doing it for 5, some even doing it for 4. So kind of the norm, the high norm in Omaha now is 6. So I take all of mine at 6 1/4, just that 1/4% higher. And I explain to them why that's important to do that. But it's easy now. It isn't.
So role play that with me a little bit, if you wouldn't mind. You're at 6 1/4. That's custom. So customary and normal in your marketplace is 6. That would be the normal high. And
well, it's getting to 5, but yeah, most of the strong agents will try for 6.
Okay. So do you mind a little bit of role play real quick? Did you do that with me? Okay.
Go right ahead.
So Deb, I appreciate it. And I love all the things that you've gone over, et cetera. But, I've had a couple of people over and they're willing to go 5.5%, and you're at 6.25%. I mean, help me out here.
Oh, Neil, I am so sorry, and I'm actually kind of surprised to hear that. You see, I would never put you in that kind of a negative position in this kind of marketplace. Do you mind if I share that with you?
Yeah, negative position. I don't understand.
Yeah, you see this little number here, and I just have all my listing sheets with us, and I don't know if it's like that in California, but here it shows what your payout is. And is it like that in California?
You mean where your co-op, what you pay the co-op agent?
Yes.
Got it. Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
we do that.
So I just show them that. I said, you see this little number right here, and I just circle it, and he said yes. Or you say yes.
Right.
I said,
yeah, I see it.
You see, that tells an agent what they're getting paid on this transaction. You have a lovely home, but you're competing, we just talked about, you're competing with 10 or 15 other lovely homes. The agents, when they sell your home, are getting paid this much more than they are on any other home. Then just ask you something. If they're getting paid quite a bit more to sell your home, which home do you think they're going to push just a little tiny bit?
Well, probably the one they're going to get paid a little bit more.
Yeah. When you negotiated your fantastic job, you talked about salary and what you were getting paid, didn't you?
Correct.
Yeah, that was part of it. Well, for us in real estate, we kind of negotiate that every single transaction. So I just want to be sure we have all those other agents out there that are showing your home. I want them on our side, even if it's a subtle little thing. And that's usually what it is. Let's say they say, gosh, I like both of these houses. This one has this and this one has that. Which one do you think is a better buy? And does that happen to us in the industry? Every single day, Neil.
Of course.
Clients ask us all the time which home is better. Now, it doesn't work if you had a bad house. It doesn't work one bit. But you have a beautiful home, but so do your neighbors. We want to be sure. I don't care how subtle. I don't care how little it is. I want all those other agents on our side. And it's been working very well.
Fantastic.
So I can do it for less, but I want to put you in the number one position in this marketplace. I would never put you in a negative position.
Woo! All right. Good job. Good job. And so how many listings are you taking? What was your goal in 2019? What'd you end up with?
In 2019, our goal was 100. And this year we raised that up. And we're right now, I think we're at 75. I've got my number sitting right here. Yeah.
75 closed and pending? Or 75 listings
we're
taken?
65 closed and pending and 70 listings taken. And theoretically, you're supposed to be the number of listings taken is the number of closed transactions. Correct. I haven't ever hit that exactly. Have you?
No, but we keep trying.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
So you've got to be a little bit above where you are currently.
Got it. So let's switch gears slightly. That's great, Deb. Thank you. It was a great role play. Let's switch gears slightly and let's talk about COVID-19. So how did that, if any, impact you and your world?
Well, I thought it would impact us tremendously. So I've kind of decided it's all mindset. I really thought that I sold one. We were just talking earlier. I sold one just the weekend that this whole thing blew apart. And I thought, well, that'll be the last sale until this is over, which of course we all thought would be in 2 weeks. That's lingered on a bit longer. But actually just the opposite has happened. I haven't seen it this busy in the upper end since probably 2007.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Been crazy for you.
But I said it's cost us. I mean, we've really had to learn how to do things differently. I mean, how do you show homes, or do you try to do it without showing, doing it all virtual? We've kind of done a little bit of everything, but now we're back to, we're masked. I was gloved until about 2 weeks ago. We use sanitizers, and we're showing the house. The first week that started out, just because of my husband's health conditions, I was being extremely cautious, so I wasn't close to anyone. And if someone called to show a house, if it was vacant, the listing agent would go ahead and turn on all the lights, so I didn't have to touch anything. They'd leave the front door open for me. I ran in, looked through the house, and then one of the agents in my group would take the client out and show them the property, and then we'd get on the phone as soon as they were done and decide what we were going to offer for the home. I've gotten a bit more lax in that, and I am showing the houses now, but watching the social distancing and the masks and all those kind of things.
Okay, got it. Perfect. So how many people on your team? How many agents? How many admins?
Total 7 with admin.
And how many admin?
3.
3.
3.
Okay, and then so 4 on the sales side, including yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Anyone take listings besides you?
I was going to say, I do run my team a little different. Our admin people, one of our admin people here in our group is not licensed, so of course she can't take listings or sell. But everybody else on our team, including our stager, can take listings and sell property.
Interesting. When you say stager, what does that mean?
She comes in and stages the homes if we need that kind of help, which we have her come in and look at every home that we sell. She was actually a lawyer by trade, and her husband passed away. She was a former client of mine, and she called and said, she has no children. She said, what am I going to do? And I said, I'm going to sell real estate, because if you're a lawyer in Nebraska, you automatically have your real estate license. So she started out that way, and then she has beautiful homes and has a keen eye and took a bunch of classes and does all of our staging now.
Wow, that's great. So the first half of this year, you're actually ahead of where you wanted to be for mid-year. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. And transactions, we aren't where in income and volume, we're significantly ahead, but transactions were really not that far ahead.
Got it. Okay. So what's the second half of the year look like for you? What did you learn in the first half that you can implement in the second half?
The most important thing that I should have known for the last 20, 25 years is, we all say we prospect and we prospect with intensity, but I really wasn't. When you couldn't go anywhere, you learned what that really means. And I don't mean push, you got to sell. It wasn't like that at all during COVID, but just being back in touch with your database was so beneficial to me. I mean, I talked to people that unfortunately I probably haven't talked to in 20 years.
Wow.
Actually kind of surprised they answered the phone. I mean, kind of like, oh, you did? You are still there? Oh, good.
How many people?
Kind of glad that they were still in the house, though.
Exactly. Yeah. Boy, that was good. How big is your database? Should be huge.
I went through, when Mike told us to kind of pare them down. I think we have right now 2,100 plus.
But how high were you?
Probably 35, I think, at one point in time.
So to get bigger, you got smaller?
I got smaller because, you have people in there that, moved to Italy 5 years ago, and they're in your database and they're not coming back to Omaha. So, those kind of people, it was time. But I couldn't just let go. I had to have them I had to still keep them somewhere. So I still have them in paper form somewhere, but they're not in my active database right now.
Interesting. Very, very. How do you touch base with them? How are you touching base with them by phone now? And what, an email? What else?
No,
Anything else?
email, Neil. Email's way too technical.
I forgot.
No.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean email.
Yeah. I mean, you know how hard it was for me.
Sorry.
On the Zoom call. Yeah. No, it's all by phone.
It's all by phone.
Before COVID, and I've kind of gone back a little bit this last week. I'll do door knocking if I have to.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. But our broker has kind of said, probably during these COVID times, you probably shouldn't be out knocking on doors.
Okay.
So we've kind of backed off of that a little, but the phone is perfectly safe and a good tool. But it just, when that was your only point of contact during this time, it really made you realize how important that is. We just get busy with our lives and we think we don't have time for that. Or we tell ourselves that we're doing it with intensity, but I wasn't. Your people are probably very well trained and are, but I will tell you I wasn't. So that's been.
Yeah, don't sell your shelf short. You're taking 6.25% listings.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Attitude is everything. Good for you. Good job. Absolutely fantastic.
Go
ahead.
I think attitude just during this whole COVID thing has been so important that, it's normal to get down during all of this, but if you believe the market's good, the market will be good.
So when you call with intensity, what you call intensity, do you call as part of your group? Do you guys hear each other, or are you on a Zoom on your iPad?
No.
Tell me that. Tell me what's going on there.
Certainly not during COVID time. No, I pick up the phone and it's myself one-on-one with the client.
Got it. Okay. How do you keep the intensity that you're talking about up during those phone calls?
I have to tell you, I think it was almost a lifeline. For me, it was, talking to humanity. So it was a lifeline along with doing my job. And that was the only thing we could do. You couldn't do the other thing. So it was a good force. I don't know that it was good. I don't think any of us can say COVID was good, but it was certainly a forced way to go back to the basics and do what you had to do. And like I said, it was a life. You got to talk to people.
So for the second half of the year, this is something that you're going to spend a lot of time, effort, and energy with.
Well, I absolutely am, because I think that's why we've been very successful through this COVID time, because I'm actually talking to people instead of just thinking I'm talking to people. I think that's why we've been busy. I don't think it's a big mystery. I think it's actually because we were.
Deb, I want to stop you there. I think what you just said is one of the best thoughts I've heard in a long, long time. And that is because we do think we're talking to people, but we're not talking to people. That's exactly that's phenomenal. You were asked me earlier about our open mic thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we have a virtual real estate office where from 8:30 in the morning until 5:30 in the afternoon, we're in the office. So we're there at the office, at the virtual office. So all of the agents all over the company can come in and out throughout the day. But during 9 to noon, what we've done is we have a prospecting period, and every 30 minutes, everybody's muted, but every 30 minutes, we ask someone to prospect on open mic. So so we have a few things going on. First, we have the accountability. They have to show up, okay, and do it. So that's the have to do it part. And then the second thing is there's this, what I call the show off factor. Okay. And for 30 minutes, they're kind of showing off to their peers and to other people. And occasionally we have agents like yourself. We've had Jason Penrose come, et cetera, where they'll just kind of show up for an hour or two and listen. They're doing their own prospecting because you can't hear them. So they're doing their own prospecting. But then occasionally it's like, wow, that was a great line. I gotta be on here again. So we're doing a lot
fabulous.
of that. Yeah, thank you. And
now,
it's really helping.
Do you do that every day?
Yeah, Monday through Friday, correct. Although this week, although we will be open tomorrow, but that's what we do. And then we have a late afternoon class that we do on Wednesday. So it's an ultimate prospecting day. I'll send you the information, Deb. We'd love to have you as a guest prospector, or just have your people show up and listen, because it is it's powerful. It's very powerful.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
And I mean, when you say it's show off period, it's also, boy, you're going to be pretty good if you're on that open mic.
Well,
I think
yes,
that's a fabulous accountability.
That's the point, is that you are you try to be a little bit better than you normally would be. So if you could do that, where this whole thing started in my coaching is I would, when I prospect for recruits, I would prospect thinking Mike Ferry was listening to me. Yeah. I would record the call and I'd send it to him. I don't know that he ever listened to the call, but the fact that he had it in his hand to listen to and could listen to scared me to death. And I tried to be better. And I think that that's kind of what we're talking about here. Absolutely. It's kind of what you said. It's how you learned to stop cutting commissions and pick up an extra $500,000 to $1 million a year over your career. A year. Imagine what that idea has been worth to you since what, 1990?
Yeah.
It's got to be worth at least $250,000 a year for 20 years. I mean, that's 20, what's that? 2.5 million? 25 million.
It's a lot.
A lot. Do the math. Mm-hmm. Anyway, congratulations. Good stuff.
And Neil, that was without adding a whole lot of transactions. I mean, we did add transactions, obviously, but that was without adding that. It was just, I mean, it was atrocious. I mean, like I said, I invented all kinds of ways to get my money away, which my husband said one time, he said, would you just watch the money? I'll buy you the trophies. And it really wasn't about the trophies, but, you know, it just, you know, it wasn't about the money. And I don't think everything should be about the money. And I say this to people too. If you feel guilty with the money, then go ahead and take it. You earned it. Give it to a charitable cause, but at least you're in control of it. And exactly. I'm telling you, your clients respect you more. Now, I have one client today that said, you know, they were all upset at how much money we made on the deal. But for the most part, I'm going to say 98, 99% of our clients respect us more. It's a business. You know, you don't ask your doctor, will he take out your appendix for 30% less or 20% less? You don't do that.
Interesting.
And we shouldn't be doing it either.
Good thought. Yeah. Great thought. Debbie, you open to taking a couple questions? Absolutely. Very cool. Okay.
I won't tell you I can answer them, but I'll be open to listening to them.
All right. Good job. All right. So questions for Deb Cizak, please. Just unmute yourself and speak up, please.
Hi, Debbie. This is Michael. Thank you very much for sharing.
Hi, Michael.
Hi there.
You're welcome.
Hey, just a quick question. So what would you say your biggest challenge nowadays is? With, you know, everything is going very well, but what would you say
it is? Yes. You know what the biggest challenge is going to be, and it always is, but now that I've tasted what prospecting and the results of that really can be, again, no matter what point you are in your career, it's going to be remembering that when we get back to normal times and continuing to do that. You know, we get lazy and we think we're too busy to do that.
Yeah.
This was, like I said, this was a great lesson for me. So it's consistency. It's saying every day when I come in, you've got to do what you did during COVID, no matter what. You just have to. I think I'm going to put a sign on my desk. It's COVID time, because maybe that will remind me.
It's a great
people will
thought.
go, what? What is wrong with you?
Great question, Michael. Thank you. Debbie,
you, Michael.
Any particular books or YouTube videos that you listen to help with your mindset right now?
You know, one thing that I have done, it's not really in the book or the YouTube thing, but one thing that I have been doing, I find people in the Mike Berry organization, Valerie and Maria, have been real important to me. And through this whole thing, we've kind of sent positive messages back and forth. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're, you know, they're very serious, but it's just that encouraging time that we need. And I would encourage everybody in your company, if you're part of a mastermind group, or you can find someone, maybe not in your office, but someone else in the industry, someone else at Mike's group, that you can just share things with. And that for me has been phenomenal. I mean, of course, I've listened to a lot of Mike's things, and I've done a lot of Mike's things during this, and Mike has been phenomenal about having things there for us during these difficult times. But as you can imagine, I had a little trouble getting on Zoom on some of the, or not Zoom, but the things that Mike was doing. So I had to call Valerie, and then I listened to everything through Valerie's stuff. That was pretty bad. But
very resourceful, Deb.
It kept me well, Valerie's like, oh my gosh, I think she was really kind of like, I can't believe anybody's that dumb. But I was. And the bad thing is, the other thing that COVID kind of taught you, when you don't have somebody there, like I said today, Mandy did it all for me today, but you didn't have any choice. So some of that stuff you had to do on your own. I mean, people would say to me, I'm only seeing the ceiling. I can't, where is your face? You know, but at least I learned some things. So that was good.
That's great. That's excellent. Go ahead, Josie.
I'll ask you, Neil, what's the best book you've read lately?
Oh my gosh. You know, I just restated this the other day. I read this book probably every year, Deb. Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. And I just get back into that all the time. And then, of course, the second book is, and I think we just posted this the other day. The second book was Dale Carnegie's Win Friends and Influence People. And I'm a back to basics guy. So for me, that's where it is. But thank you. Thanks for asking. I had Josie. Josie had a question.
Hi, Deb. Thank you for with us and trying again. Say, I talked to you a couple of years ago at one of the retreats, and I asked you.
I thought you looked really familiar. I thought, well, maybe I'm just getting old and everybody looks familiar to me. But I thought you looked familiar.
I asked you at the time, what motivates you? What keeps you going? You had just come back from maybe a month off in Alaska.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking you again, what makes you keep wanting to work?
You know, that is interesting. I guess I never really question what makes me want to work, because I really love what I'm doing. I'm really fortunate that I get to do something that I enjoy every day. So that keeps me motivated, but I like going on trips with my family. Those of you that know me know my husband had a double lung transplant 4 years ago. And we had to move to St. Louis, and no one knew about it. My group knew about it, and his father knew about it. We didn't. His mother didn't know. She has Alzheimer's, and his brother didn't know. No one around us knew. My broker didn't know. that taught me a lot about being off on your own and being away from this. That forced time away from what I did has made me so appreciate what I'm doing. He is having a little scare again, and we're going back to St. Louis on Tuesday. But things like that in your life that you certainly didn't want or you didn't expect make you realize and appreciate how fortunate you are to be able to do something like this. So I think I'm motivated because I feel truly blessed that I found something that I enjoy doing.
Great, great. Excellent. Thank you, Deb. And our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family right now.
Thanks.
It's a big
Thanks.
deal. Big deal. Okay, other questions? Questions for Deb Cizak? Robert, anything that you came in from Facebook or you have?
No, nothing else came into me. She answered all the questions that came in already.
It's been amazing. It's been fantastic. So everybody, please unmute yourselves. And let's give Deb a giant hand. Fantastic. Really, really good job today. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you, Deb.
Thanks for taking
I
your
love
time.
your office. I love your office, by the way.
Thank
That's
you.
fabulous.
Thank you,
That's really
thank you,
cool.
thank you. I'll send you the information to join us. Please pop in from time
Please
to time.
do.
9,
And
8.
would it be okay? Would it be okay if I had a couple of my group members join in on that?
100%. Please. Are you kidding?
be
The more the merrier. The more the merrier.
Right.
That works out really well for all of us. Fantastic. Okay. So what I do ask the group right now at the end of these is tell me what you learned. Tell me what you picked up today. Who wants to start? Yvonne, go ahead.
Yeah, my takeaway is thank you very much, Deb, for showing all the
You're
tips and give us encouragement. So what I really took away today was about the commission. You know, when the client want to cut commission, you know, you say, I wouldn't put you into that negative situation. That creates doubts into the seller's mind. Then you get all the stats showing them now, you know, you're competing 10 more other houses. You know, they are getting to show them how little more money the realtors get by just paying a little more. Then you say, you know,
Yeah.
I want them to be on our side, no matter how little, how subtle. I want to get all the agents on our side. So that's a great
exactly
point.
right.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to use from now on. Thank you very
Okay.
much for that. Too.
Very good. Thanks, Yvonne. Fantastic. Good. Other questions? Karen, Albert, Karen, somebody had their hand up. Karen.
I kind
Go
of was
ahead.
wanting to ask Debbie about her involvement with the buyers, because it sounds like you're still showing property.
Yeah, I will. If it's a client and I just sold their property and I know they have to buy a home in the next 3 or 4 days, you bet I will.
Okay, awesome.
Good. Excellent. Good question. Great, great. Good stuff. Okay. What else did we learn today? Robert?
Neil, I have a question.
Go ahead, Albert.
Kind of elaborate.
Oh, I love your background.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, by the way, for sharing your knowledge. My question about talking to the people, not just talking to people, but talking to the people. Can you talk a little bit more of that? Because obviously that's where the conversion from leads onto actual deals that eventually close. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? About what can we do mentally to actually focus and make sure that we saying or thinking the right things in order to convert that into an actual closed deal rather than just a contact?
You know, I think what COVID did for all of us is I came from a position of how can I help instead of how can you help me with my business. I came from a position of what can I do to help you? And for some people, I did things like, you know, we talked about masks and I said, you know what, I bought a supply of masks for my clients. Can I drop some by your home? It was little things. Every day before I started my prospecting, I said I wanted to find one person. This is just a game I played with myself. I want to find at least one person that I can do something for that they're not expecting me to do that for them. And I think coming from a position of what can I do to help instead of what can you do to help me, kind of changed everything around for me.
Awesome.
It made it a lot easier.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
It's a great thought. Thanks, Deb. Appreciate that. Absolutely. Okay, what else did we learn
Don't
today?
tell, Neil, don't tell Mike I said that I'm like wanting to be a nice person again, because he'd probably not like that well.
You know, I think he's a hidden follower on here. So
I
he
do
probably
too.
already,
Thank you for
he
saying
probably
that.
are, he probably already knows, and I'm expecting a text any second.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, good. Talk to me. What else did we learn, Robert?
So first of all, thanks, Deb. Greatly appreciate you spending the time on here. I know you're a very busy gal, so I really do appreciate that. You know, a couple takeaways that I took from it. Big thing is that there's a difference between making contacts and talking to people. You know, that was a really, really great line that she had said there in regards to that. That was a big thing for COVID. So I think that's really neat. I also liked when she talked about the commission thing, is that she had to go cold turkey. And I think that's a good thing that people just don't do enough of. You know, like some of our agents, like we're trying to get them to learn something, and it's like, okay, Neil, okay, Robert, I'm working on it. I'm trying to do it this way. And it's like, just go. Like, just jump all in.
You won't do it. You won't do it if you don't go to cold turkey, because you'll come up against someone who's a little rough and you'll slide back. And once you slide back down that slope, you're back there in the bottom again. It has to be.
I thought that was great. And then the third thing was something you actually just said. You said, yeah, I'll show, but you said it so calm and confidently. You're like, yeah, I'll show a buyer if they're going to buy in the next 3 to 4 days. Like, not next 3 to 4 weeks, not next 2 to 3 weeks. Like, yeah, if they're looking to buy in the next 3 to 4 days, sure, I'll show. Like, oh, that's a standard.
That's great. That's great. Good stuff. Thank you, Robert. Good. All right. What else did we learn? Anyone else have anything they want to share? Got it? Everybody's got it figured out?
I want to share something.
Please, Tess.
I think I really liked what she said about when you cut your commission, you're not only hurting yourself, but you're also hurting the industry. I just wish that every agent would really think about this, because I've seen this where we will say something and then it goes to somewhere else and it goes to different, conversation. That's why sometimes we have to be careful when we're talking to our clients, because what we say, we go everywhere. But if especially right now, because we're hearing a lot of cutting commission, but if each and of the agent understands that when they really cut that, you're cutting what you can get, which is for your family. And if our mind, all of the agent will think that way, that's awesome.
You know, one thing kind of to piggyback on that, I said, my son works with me in the group, and obviously he's quite a bit younger. And he said, you know, sometimes you just have to because everybody else is doing it. And I said, you know, you can do it as far as I'm concerned, because you're not going to hurt me. I'm not going to be in the business 20 years from now. But every time you join on that bandwagon with everyone else and accept the fact that it's okay to cut the commission, it's okay to go from a 7% and now to a 6% market and a 5%. But before you know it, everybody in your marketplace is going to be at 4 and 5.
Exactly.
And that's a long ways down for 7%. So what they've done, what they're doing right now, they're planting the seeds for their future business. And that's, if I could stress anything to the younger agents, just don't go down that path, because I've seen it drop a full percent in our market, if not maybe getting closer to 2 now. Well, what's going to happen in another 20 years? Are you going to be down there at 3%? Maybe.
Got it.
You need to hold the brakes there.
Great advice. Great advice. Good question, Tess. Absolutely fantastic. All right, everybody unmute yourselves, please. And let's give Deb a giant hand. Woohoo! All right. Yay, good
Thanks,
job.
guys.
Fantastic. Deb Cizak, thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Be
You're
safe. Have a
welcome.
safe and sane
Take care.
4th of July. And if
All of you as well. And I hope
All
to
right.
see you at a mic event soon.
virtually or not virtually, but we'll be there.
Anyway.
Exactly. All right, everybody. Fantastic. All right, Deb,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank
Robert,
Thank you.
what's our
Bye.
class? What's our next class, buddy?
Well, so since we're not doing a class tomorrow, I figured we would do our video class today. And being that it's Independence Day, I found a video of JFK's top rules for success. So
Very good.
we're going to watch a video. It's about 18 minutes. John F. Kennedy's top 10 rules for success. I actually really liked it. I looked specifically for something like that. And then I watched it and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. So good